Alex had always been fascinated by the stars. Ever since he was a child, he would lie on the roof of his small home, staring up at the endless night sky, imagining worlds that humans had never touched. Now he was on one of those worlds, far from Earth, surrounded by strange forests and glowing rivers that seemed alive. This planet, known as Urindor, was beautiful and dangerous in equal measure. He was part of a small exploration team sent to study it, but sometimes, when the others were busy with their tasks, he wandered alone, seeking the mysteries that lurked beyond the camp. On this day, Alex had slipped away from the main group, drawn by a soft, pulsing light near a river he had never explored. The water shimmered with colors that seemed to flow like liquid rainbows, reflecting the strange purple and green canopy above. The air was thick but sweet, scented with flowers he could not name, and strange insects floated like tiny lanterns through the air. He felt alive, exhilarated by the unknown. As he moved closer to the river, he heard a rustling behind him. His first thought was a wild animal, and instinctively his hand went to the side of his utility belt, brushing against the compact scanner he always carried. The rustling stopped. The forest fell silent in a way that felt deliberate, as if the trees themselves were holding their breath. Alex's heart beat faster, not with fear but with anticipation. Then he saw her. She stepped out from behind a glowing tree, moving as if the air itself obeyed her. She was taller than a human, with long, graceful limbs that ended in hands tipped with delicate, claw-like nails. Her skin shimmered faintly under the light, and her eyes, large and golden, locked onto his instantly. Her ears were pointed, almost like a feline's, and her hair flowed like liquid silver down her back. Alex could not breathe for a moment. He had never seen anything so beautiful and alien in his life. She tilted her head and smiled, but it was not a normal smile. It was knowing, teasing, and somehow dangerous all at once. Then softly she purred. "Careful, human, I hear everything you want." Alex froze. He had only thought the words, he had never spoken them aloud. Yet somehow she had known. A shiver ran down his spine. His mind raced. Was she reading his thoughts? No, that was impossible. Humans had no technology capable of this. But the certainty in her voice made his mind scream that she was real and that she could hear him. I didn't speak," he said finally, his voice shaking. How do you know?" Her eyes gleamed. She stepped closer, the glow from the trees reflecting off her skin. "I don't just know what you speak. I know what you imagine, what you feel, everything. Thoughts are loud here, human. Yours are very loud." Alex swallowed hard. He had always been careful with his thoughts, even around people, but this was different. The idea that someone, or something, could hear everything he wanted, everything he feared, made his stomach twist with both excitement and fear. I don't mean anything bad," he said, trying to keep his voice calm. "I'm just exploring." Her ears flicked as if listening to something only she could hear. Then she purred again, low and teasing. "Exploring is fine. Curiosity is welcome. But beware, curiosity can be dangerous." Alex realized then that she was both predator and guardian. She could destroy him with ease, yet she did not. Instead, she seemed intrigued by him, studying him as much as he studied her. He took a cautious step forward. "I'm Alex. I'm part of the exploration team. Alex," she repeated, the word rolling off her tongue like a soft melody. "I will remember it. Names are important for thoughts, for intentions." Alex felt a strange warmth at the sound of his name spoken by her. He wanted to ask more, to learn who she was, but before he could, she moved. So fast it was almost a blur, she circled him, her gaze never leaving his. It was not threatening exactly, but every movement was deliberate, calculated. Her presence was overwhelming, like standing in the eye of a storm, calm in the middle of chaos. "You think you understand this world, human," she said softly, "but you only see what is allowed. You think the forest is alive, but you do not know how much it listens or how much it protects." Alex wanted to respond, to ask questions, but his mind felt tangled. How could he explain anything when she could hear it all? Still, he tried. I want to understand. I want to learn about your world, your people, if there are people here. Her eyes widened slightly, a flicker of amusement passing across her face. Perhaps, perhaps not. What you seek may not be given so easily. She took a step closer, and he could feel the warmth of her body radiating like a sunbeam. But I will let you try. Alex blinked. He had not expected an invitation. He had expected hostility, or at least indifference. Instead, she seemed curious about him, about humans. That thought both thrilled and terrified him. Why me? He asked, his voice barely a whisper. Because, she said, and her purr rolled through the air again, soft and slow, humans are unpredictable. You think small, you act small, yet you surprise. You have courage, even without realizing it. That makes you interesting. Alex felt a swell of pride, but it was tempered by fear. He had always wanted to be brave, to be special, but standing here under the glowing canopy, facing a being capable of hearing his mind, it felt both amazing and impossible. Will you show me more? He asked cautiously. Can I follow you? Learn. She considered him for a moment, her luminous eyes scanning every thought, every hesitation, every flicker of desire in his mind. Then she nodded, slowly, deliberately. Perhaps, but you must be careful, human. Not everything here is friendly. Not everything is meant for your kind to see. Alex nodded, his pulse racing. I'll be careful, I promise. For the next hour, he followed her silently through the forest. She moved like a shadow, stepping over roots and rocks without a sound, disappearing and reappearing in ways that made him question reality. He noticed that the trees themselves seemed to lean away from her, parting just enough to let her pass, and he realized that the forest was not just alive, it obeyed her. At one point, they reached a clearing where the ground was soft with moss, and the air shimmered with light that seemed to come from nowhere. She paused and looked at him, her gaze almost tender. This is a place of peace, she said. But even here, danger can arrive without warning. You must always be aware. Alex nodded, trying to absorb everything. His mind was racing with questions, but he also felt a strange calm in her presence. It was as if she was both a challenge and a guide, testing him without ever speaking in a way he fully understood. Then, without warning, she stopped. Her ears twitched, her eyes narrowed. Alex felt a sudden tension in the air. Something was approaching, something large and unseen. He tensed, ready to act, but before he could even think, she moved. Faster than he could follow, she leapt to the side, crouched low, and hissed a warning that seemed to vibrate through the air. Alex saw a shadow move across the clearing, a large creature, unlike anything he had ever seen. Its body was sleek and covered in dark scales, and it moved with silent, deadly grace. He froze, unsure what to do. The alien woman, Lyra, he realized he would call her that in his mind, stepped between him and the creature. Her eyes glowed, and she made a low, resonant sound that seemed to reverberate in the air. The creature paused, its head tilting as if trying to understand. Then with a snarl it retreated, vanishing into the shadows. Alex exhaled shakily. That was incredible. How did you? She turned to him, eyes calm again, purring softly. You do not need to understand, human. You only need to survive. That is enough for now. He felt a mix of awe and gratitude. He had survived his first encounter, but he knew this was only the beginning. She was powerful, unpredictable, and utterly alien. Yet there was a spark of something familiar in her, the recognition of courage, the understanding of curiosity, the respect for life. As the first light of Erendor's twin suns began to filter through the trees, Lyra moved again, disappearing into the forest as silently as she had appeared. Alex stood alone in the clearing, heart racing, mind buzzing. He knew one thing for certain: he had to see her again. He had to learn more, not just for science, but because he could not shake the feeling that this encounter had changed him in ways he did not yet understand. The forest returned to its normal rhythm, the glowing rivers flowing, the insects floating, the air humming with life. But Alex felt different. He felt seen, tested, and challenged in ways he had never imagined. And deep in his mind, he heard her voice again, soft and teasing as if carried by the wind. "Careful, human, I hear everything you want." He smiled to himself, a mix of fear and excitement bubbling inside him. This was no ordinary exploration. This was the beginning of something far greater, something that could change his life, and perhaps the fate of humanity, forever. And with that thought, he turned back toward the camp, knowing he would return to the forest, to her, and to the mysteries that waited there. Alex could not stop thinking about her. The memory of her golden eyes, the way she had moved like liquid through the forest, and the soft purr in her voice haunted him. He tried to focus on his work with the exploration team, recording plant samples, analyzing minerals, and checking the readings of his scanner. But his mind kept wandering back to the glowing forest and the alien woman who had known his thoughts. He felt a strange pull, an urge to go back to find her again, to understand her. After the team finished their daily survey, Alex waited until nightfall. The bioluminescent plants glowed softly, casting a surreal light over the camp. The other humans had gathered near the supply tent, talking and laughing, unaware of the wonders hidden just beyond the tree line. Alex slipped away quietly, his boots crunching softly on the alien soil, guided by the faint memories of her movements and the glowing river where he had first met her. As he walked deeper into the forest, he noticed subtle changes. The trees leaned slightly, creating a path that seemed almost intentional. The air grew warmer, filled with the scent of flowers he did not recognize. He could hear distant sounds, soft and melodic like the whisper of water over stones. His pulse quickened. He knew he was close. Then he saw her. She was crouched on a low branch, watching him with her luminous eyes. The silver hair caught the light, making her seem even more otherworldly. She had not noticed him yet, or perhaps she was pretending not to. He stopped, unsure how to approach. He did not want to scare her, but he needed answers. Slowly, he stepped forward. She turned, her eyes locking onto his, and a soft purr rolled through the air. "You return, human. I wondered if you would." Alex swallowed. "I had to. I needed to see you again. I need to understand." Her ears twitched and she tilted her head. "Understand. Some things are not meant to be understood fully. Some things must be felt, experienced." He nodded, trying to keep his nerves steady. "I can handle it. I want to learn." For a long moment she studied him. Alex felt exposed, as if she could read not just his thoughts but the very core of his being. Finally, she nodded. "Very well. Follow me, but carefully. Not everything you see will be safe, and not everything you wish for will come without cost." He followed her through twisting paths, over glowing roots and under arches of luminous leaves. She moved silently like a shadow, and he realized he had to focus completely just to keep up. She occasionally glanced back, as if testing his attention, and each time he met her gaze, he felt a strange thrill, a mixture of fear, excitement, and awe. After what felt like hours, they reached a clearing dominated by a massive tree, its trunk wide and ancient, its branches stretching high above, glowing with bioluminescent leaves. At the base of the tree, the ground was soft with moss, and small crystal-like plants emitted a gentle, calming light. "This is my place," she said, her voice soft and melodic. "It is where I come to think, to listen, to understand the forest. You may stay, but only if you are silent and respectful." Alex nodded, lowering himself to sit on the moss. The air here was alive but not threatening. He could feel the energy of the planet, subtle and powerful, as if it was breathing around him. The alien woman, Lyra, crouched nearby, her eyes half closed as she seemed to communicate silently with the forest. "I can feel it," Alex said quietly. "The energy, it's like the forest itself is alive." She opened her eyes, golden and luminous in the soft light. "It is alive. And it listens." Everything has a voice, even what is silent. Humans rarely notice this, but you are sensitive. That is why I am intrigued." Alex's mind raced. He had spent his life studying alien worlds, but this was unlike anything he had imagined. "Why me?" he asked again. "Why did you choose to reveal yourself?" Lyra's tail flicked gently. "I did not choose, you drew my attention. Humans are unusual. You are small, fragile in body, yet your mind is resilient. You think quickly, you adapt, and you feel deeply. These are qualities my people admire, though we rarely admit it." Alex felt a mix of pride and humility. He had always wanted to be special, but hearing it from her, an alien of extraordinary power, was overwhelming. I want to learn from you. Teach me, please." She studied him for a moment, then nodded. "Very well. You will learn, but not through words alone. You must observe, feel, and act. Understanding comes from experience, not explanation." Over the next days, Alex followed Lyra deeper into the forest. He learned to move quietly, to observe without disturbing, to listen to the subtle signals of the environment. Lyra showed him hidden pools where water shimmered with a strange, healing light. She led him to plants that seemed to react to thought, flowers that closed or opened as his intentions changed. He discovered that he could communicate with small creatures simply by focusing his mind, and that Lyra's presence amplified his sensitivity. One evening, as the twin suns set, casting long shadows across the glowing forest, Alex realized he had grown attached. He did not want to admit it, but he cared for Lyra, not just as a guide, but as someone who understood him in ways no human ever had. She noticed the change. "You think too much with your heart, human," she said, her voice soft, almost amused. "That is dangerous. Curiosity is one thing, desire is another. You must learn to balance them." Alex smiled faintly. "I don't want to hide it. I want to feel it, whatever it is." Lyra's eyes glowed brighter for a moment, and she purred, a sound that resonated in the clearing. "Then you must be careful. Not everything you feel is safe to act upon." As he spent more time with her, Alex noticed other dangers. Predators moved in the shadows, unseen but felt. Strange creatures with scales and sharp claws stalked the undergrowth. Lyra taught him to recognize the signs, the subtle changes in the air, the vibrations in the ground, the rustle of leaves that betrayed movement. One night they encountered a large, predatory creature while he was alone near a clearing. He froze, unsure what to do, but before it could strike, Lyra appeared, moving faster than he could comprehend, placing herself between him and the predator. The creature hissed and lunged, but she was faster, swatting it aside with incredible precision. Alex watched, awestruck, as she dispatched it without effort. "Humans are clever," she said afterward, her eyes studying him. "You survive through ingenuity, not strength. That is admirable." Alex realized then that humans were underestimated, not just by her species, but perhaps by the universe itself. He had no extraordinary powers, no alien abilities, but he had courage, curiosity, and the ability to adapt. Lyra seemed to recognize this, and in her own way she respected him for it. One afternoon, they discovered a hidden grove filled with crystalline structures that emitted light in patterns, almost like a code. Lyra explained, not with words but through gestures and shared thought, that these crystals contained knowledge, information about the planet, its history, and the creatures that lived there. Alex could feel it in his mind, a hum of intelligence, and he realized that this planet had secrets humans had never dreamed of. "You can learn," Lyra said, her eyes meeting his. "But learning requires patience, focus, and respect. You must listen more than you speak, observe more than you act." Alex nodded, absorbing every detail. He felt a connection forming, not just with her but with the planet itself. He could sense patterns, rhythms, and cycles. He began to understand how the creatures, plants, and even the wind worked together in harmony. It was a lesson in observation and humility, and he felt honored to be allowed to witness it. Then came the night that changed everything. A violent storm swept through the forest, lightning cracking across the sky, thunder shaking the ground. Alex had never seen a storm like this. The wind howled, tearing branches from trees and sending debris flying. He tried to stay close to Lyra, but the storm moved unpredictably, scattering them. He ducked under a massive root, heart pounding, as a gust of wind nearly knocked him over. Then he felt her presence. Lyra moved through the storm with grace, guiding him silently with gestures and gentle touches. When they finally reached shelter, a cave partially hidden by rocks and vines, Alex collapsed, exhausted. "You survived," Lyra said, her voice calm despite the chaos outside. "Many humans would not have. You adapt, you endure. That is why you are remarkable." Alex looked at her, drenched and shivering, and realized that admiration was mutual. She trusted him, valued his presence, and saw his potential in ways that few could. He felt a deep sense of pride and belonging, but also a growing awareness of the danger he faced. This world was beautiful, but it was not safe. And Lyra was not merely a guide, she was a test, a challenge, and perhaps something more. As the storm raged outside, Alex knew that his life had changed. He had survived challenges that would have overwhelmed most humans, learned lessons from an alien being beyond imagination, and discovered strength within himself that he had never recognized. He felt ready for whatever came next, but also knew that the forest held greater secrets, secrets that would require every ounce of courage, intelligence, and heart he possessed. And in the quiet moments when the storm had passed and only the soft glow of the crystals illuminated the cave, he heard her purr, soft and melodic. "You are learning, human, but the greatest lessons are yet to come." Alex smiled, feeling a strange warmth in his chest. Whatever the forest had in store, he was ready. For the first time, he felt that humans, despite their fragility, could rise to meet challenges that no one expected. And with Lyra by his side, guiding, testing, and teaching, he realized that his journey had only just begun. Alex woke before dawn, the soft glow of bioluminescent plants illuminating the cave. The forest outside was calm now, the storm having passed, leaving only the gentle rustle of leaves and the distant hum of the glowing river. He stretched, feeling the aches from yesterday's events, but there was excitement in his chest. Today, he knew, would be different. Today, Lyra would show him more than he had ever imagined, and he felt a mix of anticipation and nervousness. Lyra emerged from the shadows, her golden eyes catching the first rays of Erendor's twin suns. Her movements were fluid, effortless, and she regarded him with a calm intensity that made him feel both small and significant at the same time. "The storm has cleared," she said softly. "It is time for you to see the heart of this world. But understand, what lies ahead is not merely beauty. It is a test of mind, courage, and will." Alex nodded, swallowing the lump in his throat. "I am ready. I want to learn." She purred softly, a sound that vibrated through the air like a low melody. Without another word, she led him deeper into the forest. The path was unfamiliar, winding through towering trees whose trunks were covered in glowing vines and flowers. The air shimmered with energy, as if the forest itself was alive and aware of their presence. Alex felt it in every step, the subtle pull of power, the rhythm of life that flowed through the soil, the plants, and even the stones beneath his feet. After a long trek, they arrived at a hidden valley, cradled by cliffs and illuminated by cascading streams of liquid light. In the center stood a massive crystalline structure, taller than any building Alex had ever seen, radiating a soft, pulsating glow. The air hummed with energy, and he felt a strange warmth in his chest, as if the crystals were alive, communicating with him on some deep level. "This is the core of the forest," Lyra said, her voice both gentle and commanding. "These crystals hold knowledge, history, wisdom, the essence of this world. Few beings are allowed to see this place. You are here because you have shown courage, intelligence, and respect. But to truly understand, you must interact. You must prove that humans are worthy. Alex stepped closer, mesmerized by the crystals. He reached out his hand, and as his fingers brushed the surface, visions flooded his mind, images of the forest's history, its creatures, its growth over thousands of years. He saw Lyra's ancestors, guarding the forest and teaching it to those who could understand. He saw humans in his visions, distant and small, but connected to the stars and capable of great courage. "It is overwhelming," Alex whispered, almost to himself. "I've never felt anything like this." Lyra's gaze softened. "Feel it, human. Knowledge is not only in your mind. It is in your senses, in your heart. To understand the universe, you must accept its beauty and its dangers. You must embrace the unknown." As he absorbed the visions, a sudden vibration shook the ground. Alex looked up and saw dark shapes moving through the valley, creatures unlike any he had seen before, their bodies sleek, scaled, and predatory. They had been drawn by the energy of the crystals, and they advanced swiftly, eyes glinting with hunger. Alex froze, panic rising in his chest, but Lyra was already in motion. She moved with incredible speed, leaping and bounding between the creatures, her claws and tail striking with precision. She did not attack to kill but to defend, pushing them back, diverting their focus and creating openings for Alex to move safely. "Focus, human," she called, her voice sharp yet calm. "Use your mind. Predict their movements. Think faster than they do." Alex's training, his experience, and his growing connection with Lyra and the forest came together in a single instant. He noticed the patterns, the way the predators moved, the rhythm of their steps, the timing of their strikes. With careful precision, he used the environment to his advantage, dodging, leading, and using the glowing vines and crystalline structures to create barriers. Lyra's eyes glowed with approval as he matched her agility with strategy, not raw power. After what felt like hours but was only moments, the creatures retreated, slipping back into the shadows, wary of the combined force of human ingenuity and Lyra's unmatched skill. Alex collapsed onto the soft moss, heart pounding, and she appeared beside him, her fur sleek, eyes glowing softly. "You have done well," she said, her voice carrying pride and amusement. "Many humans would have failed. You think, adapt, and act. That is why you are exceptional." Alex exhaled, feeling a rush of pride mixed with relief. I couldn't have done it without you," he admitted. "You guided me, protected me. You taught me to see patterns, to understand." Lyra's ears twitched and she purred low. "Yes, but you applied it yourself. That is what makes you different. Humans are underestimated because they appear small, fragile, and simple. Yet you surprise, you endure, you adapt, you conquer." Alex realized then the truth of her words. He had always believed humans were limited, that survival depended on strength or technology. But here, guided by Lyra, he had learned that human qualities, curiosity, intelligence, empathy, courage, could overcome even the most dangerous situations. It was a revelation, and he felt a deep sense of pride. After the battle, Lyra led him to a hidden chamber within the crystalline structure. The walls shimmered with energy, and he could see countless symbols and images dancing across the surfaces. Lyra's hands moved gracefully, tracing the patterns, and Alex felt the knowledge flow into him, not fully but enough to understand the importance. "This is what my people guard," she explained. "The wisdom of the world, the knowledge of life itself. Only those who prove worthy may access it. You have passed the first trials, human, but greater challenges await. Are you ready?" Alex nodded firmly. "I am ready. I want to learn everything you can teach me." Lyra studied him for a long moment, then smiled, a genuine, warm smile that made Alex's chest tighten. "Very well, but you must understand this. Learning comes with responsibility. Knowledge is power, and power must be wielded with care. Misuse it and you will bring harm to yourself and others." He listened intently, absorbing every word. He understood the weight of what he was being taught. This was not just survival or exploration. It was a lesson in wisdom, courage, and ethics. He realized that humans had the potential to rise beyond their limitations, to become something more than what other species expected. Over the next days, Alex trained and studied under Lyra's guidance. She taught him to sense the life force of the forest, to anticipate danger, and to communicate silently with both creatures and plants. He learned to use his mind in new ways, to plan and strategize with precision, and to see patterns in chaos. Each day he grew stronger, not physically, but mentally and emotionally. One evening, as the twin suns set, painting the forest in shades of gold and violet, Lyra led him to a high cliff overlooking the valley. The view was breathtaking, the glowing forest stretching endlessly below, rivers shimmering like liquid light, and the crystalline structure pulsating gently in the center. "You see this, human?" she asked softly. "This is your reward and your challenge. To understand beauty is to understand responsibility. To witness power is to wield it wisely. Humans are small, but small does not mean weak. Your mind, your heart, your courage, these are your greatest strengths. Remember them." Alex nodded, feeling a profound sense of purpose. "I understand, I won't forget." Lyra's eyes softened and she purred again. "You have come far, human. You have proven yourself not just in thought and action, but in heart. That is rare. That is why you are here. That is why I have trusted you." For the first time, Alex felt a deep connection, not just with Lyra, but with the planet, the forest, and the universe itself. He realized that humans were underestimated in ways he had never imagined. They were capable of incredible courage, resilience, and wisdom, even in worlds far beyond their own. As the stars began to appear in the night sky, mirrored by the glowing lights of the forest below, Alex understood that his journey was just beginning. Lyra had taught him that knowledge, courage, and heart were the keys to survival and growth. Humans might be small, but they were powerful in ways that few beings recognized. He looked at Lyra, golden eyes shimmering in the soft light, and smiled. "Thank you," he said quietly, "for everything, for teaching me, for trusting me, for showing me this." She purred, her voice like a soft melody that resonated in his chest. "Remember, human, the greatest lessons are never finished. You have learned much, but there is always more. Always more to see, to feel, to understand. And you have shown that humans are capable of greatness beyond imagination." Alex felt a warmth in his chest, a mixture of pride, hope, and determination. He knew that he had changed, that his perception of humans and their potential had grown, and that his life would never be the same. He had faced danger, uncertainty, and the unknown, and he had emerged stronger, wiser, and more confident than ever before. As he stood beside Lyra, gazing out over the glowing valley, he knew that humans, though small and fragile in appearance, could rise to meet any challenge, overcome any obstacle, and leave a mark on the universe that no one could ignore. And with Lyra by his side, guiding, challenging, and believing in him, he knew that the future held adventures, discoveries, and achievements beyond anything he had ever dreamed. The forest hummed around them, alive and eternal, and Alex felt a deep sense of connection, purpose, and possibility. He had learned that courage, intelligence, and heart could surpass expectation, and that humans, underestimated by many, could achieve greatness in the face of the unknown. Lyra purred once more, soft and approving, and Alex smiled, ready to embrace whatever came next. The journey of discovery, courage, and human potential had only just begun.